The Air 3S Pro is the second launch for the brand in 2025. If the previous model taught us anything, it's that the price will increase shortly after this video releases. We're talking a week, maybe two. Consider giving me your attention for the next few minutes. I'll give you all the info on these new flagship XR glasses. Hi, I'm Clef and you're watching gametechtalk. 5 months ago, creators such as I informed you on the RayNeo Air 3S. Well, they're doing it again, and just like the previous model, this one will launch for less than $250 USD, but the price hasn't been disclosed to creators by the time you see this review. I'll update my chapter title with the exact amount as soon as the cat is out of the bag. I'll presume you know about XR glasses. Still, I'll break down basics, but only after addressing in rapid fire what carries over from the previous model and hasn't changed. Sound is improved, but the speakers themselves remain the same. We're talking 4 speakers, but more to follow. The resolution and refresh rate still is 1080p per eye and up to 120Hz. The panel are micro OLEDs with an industry-leading 200,000 to 1 contrast ratio. They feature 3840Hz DC plus PWM dimming to eliminate risks of flicker to those perceptible, and while offering more color modes than before, the gamut volume remains unchanged. To simplify, the Air 3S Pro meets every metric for HDR, but don't be surprised if it doesn't accept HDR signal, much like every other consumer-grade XR glasses to date. Without an HDR driver board to accept the signal, the feature is simply not available at the moment. Still, we can find comfort in having colors and contrast that can be just as great. The eye box hasn't changed, nor has the FOV, and while the aesthetics of the glasses are updated, the overall body and weight hasn't. Navigation, buttons, modes such as side-by-side 3D, USB-C connection, and flexible arm adjustments, all that is still there. Much like the Air 2S and Air 3S, the Air 3S Pro doesn't offer myopia adjustments or anchoring mode like some competing brands. This concludes what remains the same, so what about the upgrades that makes the Pro? Number 1 is a new standard on the scene with up to 1200 nits. This is indeed the brightest XR glasses to ever hit the market. And because we're talking OLED and why I referenced HDR a moment ago, in the right scenes, you'll be easily fooled into thinking you are on an HDR signal. The luminance and vibrance that exudes from these panels are second to none. Whether you're watching a movie with dark scenes or playing a vibrant Nintendo Switch 2 game like Donkey Kong Bonanza. But circling back to audio, new to the 3S Pro is a spatial audio option which provides an onboard live algorithm. This optional feature boosts the presence of what you're listening to, be it a movie, your favorite tunes, or naturally, your gaming session. I spent plenty of time testing the mode, and it's undoubtedly more than just a fancy EQ profile. I could immediately hear the difference. It also does a great job at conserving dialogue in movies and shows. That said, as is often the case with spatial algorithms, gaming can be a bit of a hit and a miss. It'll depend on the soundstage of the games. My advice is to expect a per title solution. Some games it'll work great. Some it might deter from things such as footstep localization or greatly exaggerate certain sounds, making you think an enemy is closer than they appear. I'd summarize the feature as being a sound implementation, pun intended. The Whisper mode returns, designed to retain a near identical audio experience to the standard mode, but while greatly reducing the audio leak. Perfect when laying in bed next to your spouse. RayNeo offers the best audio in the entire XR landscape, and the spatial mode manages to offer more flexibility and options. Frankly, the audio coming out of those glasses deserves to be described as cinema-like. RayNeo once again flexes in the audio department, and the Air 3S Pro succeeds in improving that aspect. And back to visuals, the Air 3S Pro also increases color options versus the previous model with now 5+1 color mode. Why 5+1 and not 6? Well, the 5 modes are movie, game, standard, professional, and eye care, but you'll notice just over there is a mode called Vision Boost. Vision Boost stands on its own and can be turned on or off. Doing so will increase the vibrancy and luminance, and this improvement persists on any of the other 5 modes you select. This feature alongside the improved audio are the 2 things that immediately sold me on why this model is touted to now be Pro. I'll be honest, I wasn't even sure why they bothered to increase the nits until I activated Vision Boost. Look, they're not calling it that. That's very much me and me alone saying what I'm about to say. Vision Boost feels like what I'd consider to be an onboard HDR converter. Again, it's not, but the way that it amplifies the image, it just as might well be. Truly a feature that's game-changing, and I appreciate that they made it a tuggable option, first because right before bed, truly, this thing can be too intense at times. But also it helps distinguish how the increased nits are able to truly amplify specific pixels, something as we know OLED is particularly good at. In short, the Pro is designed to dial in on what made the Air 3S a superb deal, and rather than adding fluff around, RayNeo keeps on pushing their unfair advantage to greater heights, further establishing their area of expertise. There is another aspect which I remained disappointed with the Air 2S and Air 3S that the Air 3S Pro finally fixes, well, sort of. I continuously recommended to viewers to not remove the protective sticker that comes on RayNeo's glasses. One, for fear of scratching your shiny new device, but two, to prevent more light than needed to enter the glasses, as RayNeo glasses are not pitch black, rather they are heavily shaded, but you can still see through them. In broad daylight, this may be a nuisance that'll hinder a more intimate viewing experience. Well, this time around, RayNeo designed a lens shade, a first for the brand, to be installed on the XR glasses to block any light. Sadly, I do not have this accessory myself, but I was able to find a listing on AliExpress, and if the price is truly what is being shown, boy oh boy, this makes no sense. This should have been included with the Air 3S Pro. Pro implies that it's built for superior performance and complete light blockage shades are a must, be it through an accessory or electrochromic dimming, which the Air 3S Pro doesn't have. I do not know at the moment how much RayNeo will charge for this accessory. It is possible that the listing on AliExpress is inflated, time will tell, but I would strongly encourage anyone buying the Air 3S Pro to greatly consider getting the lens shades as well, or to leave the protective sticker on. To continue with accessories, both the Pocket TV and JoyDock remains available separately or in bundles. The Pocket TV is a remote control meets Android TV box in one sleek package that's about the size of a phone. With components to run the full Google Chromecast experience on battery, about 5 hours on a full charge, you can install apps and connect Bluetooth devices such as a gamepad, and using apps like Moonlight, GeForce Now, xCloud, or Remote Play, this is your gateway for local streaming and cloud gaming, but naturally, this can also be used for media consumption with apps such as YouTube, Prime, Disney+, and the likes. In essence, XR glasses are a giant monitor strapped to your face. The device to which you plug them will do the heavy software lifting. If you don't care for the Pocket TV, your Android phone, your USB-C iPhone, your MacBook or laptop, all can be used to leverage XR viewing using an available video out enabled USB-C port. Make sure to always refer to the specification of your device to confirm that it'll work. There's really two devices that, while perfect for XR, also need a specific accessory to work: the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Nintendo Switch 2. In my Air 2S and Air 3S reviews, I both mentioned the JoyDock, another accessory designed to strap to the back of the Switch 1, connect with a cable, and when doing so, this will power your Switch, providing up to 10,000 mAh of battery on a full charge, allowing you to play for longer durations, but it'll also make the Switch 1 and Switch 2 believe that it's being docked, and when doing so, it'll cast the image to the JoyDock. From there, you can plug your Air 3S Pro XR glasses to the JoyDock, and bam, you got your huge viewing Zelda, Mario, or the likes type of experience. The thing is, both the Switch 1 and Switch 2 feel like they were built precisely for that use case, specifically because you can easily detach the Joy-Cons, sit the JoyDock and Switch on a table near you, and you just have at it. Also, you can provide power to the JoyDock for unlimited game time, as it'll keep the accessory juiced up, which will then keep the Switch powered as well. The one thing that Switch 2 may need updated down the road is that clip. Seeing as the Switch 2 is larger, it won't attach to the back of the Switch 2. I am unaware if the accessory is to be updated, but I'll make sure to make a pinned comment as soon as I find out. And before I forget, this accessory is also subject to working with other devices that supports video out through USB-C. And so that concludes this critique, but should you wish for more information, you could still watch my Air 3S review that should complement nicely, link in the description. Though I didn't mention, in the box is also a carry pouch made of felt fabric, a Type-C to Type-C cable, manuals, a fabric for your glasses, an alternate nosepad, and a demo unit for attachable lens with strength. One advantage is every model so far have used the same system. If you bought compatible prescription lenses before, they'll carry over just fine on the Air 3S Pro. Okay, so the reality is, for the price of one pair from competing brands, you could have bought the Air 3S on launch and now the Air 3S Pro, and you'd still have money to spare. Once again, RayNeo establishes that when it comes to offering peak visual experience paired with peak audio, no one can come close to their strengths, but also their value proposition. At the same time, it is true that some features found in competitors might just be non-negotiable for you, and much like RayNeo stands out in video and audio quality, some stand out in providing acceptable performance with improved convenience. And now, to address those who own the Air 3S and those who don't, if you do own the previous model, a part of me wants to say that it's so inexpensive in comparison, it's truly a nice upgrade, all things considered. But if being reasonable, unless you need a second pair, I'd recommend that you wait and see what they'll offer or announce sometime between Q1 and Q2 2026 would be my educated guess. If you don't have XR glasses or are looking to buy another pair, I think the RayNeo Air 3S Pro do absolutely more than enough to stand out and offer an experience that remains unmatched when it's about what you see and what you hear. So my question for you is this: have you had a pair of RayNeo before? Are you looking to buy your first one or move to their new flagship model that they now offer? Let me know in the comment box. As always, consider hitting the like if you found this review informative, and to subscribe with the bell to not miss any future content. I'm Clef, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.